How's it going, everyone? It is Thursday, October 24th, 2024. Let's take a look at the pick from the last video, which was MMM. So this was the setup on MMM on the D1 chart. This pick over here, post earnings, double top, bearish engulfing candle through the 50 SMA, and we had some follow through selling on the next day. So this D1 is going to come into context in a little bit when we evaluate this trade. So yesterday, here was the market, here was MMM, and I said if MMM, I called it out in the video, if it broke the compression, then we could get a nice leg lower. So that's exactly what happened. Broke the compression here at 1210. So I really like that entry on the stock. Market had a fresh 1 OP bearish cross coming into play here. So stock made new low of the day, market made new low of the day. Now at 1240 here, we got this low, which coincided over here. Then we got a little bit of a pop, and then we got a retest of this low with some decent volume on this bullish hammer. So we hit a little bit of support here. Here's a little high volume doji, another little high volume hammer over here. So that is telling us that there is a little bit of support here. So I took some gains at the close over here, 26.21. So 30 cents, not a whole ton, but still not bad. Took some gains there, and got back to the sidelines. Market was still pretty weak. This bearish cross was looking decent, but we did have this 1 OP bullish cross coming up, potentially over here. Just not a ton of separation. So that was a tiny win. You can see the stock compressed while the market rallied lower. And then when the market found some support over here at 220, we got a pretty decent rally over here. So why did this happen? Well, one reason is what I've noticed is that these, maybe I'm going to draw it somewhere here. This sort of D1 chart where we haven't quite had the selling, the time to sell off that we need to break through some of these levels. They're a little bit more prone to some intraday reversals. Now, on a bearish trend day, you actually had a chance to get out of that reversal for a scratch or a small loss, or even a small win like I got. Stock clearly hit some sort of support over here. Looks like it may come down and retest that level right now. But that is a pretty big clue. Now, if there was a more bearish D1 chart, not as likely to have happened. That's probably, you're probably going to have some time to get out of that trade. So that's one of the risks of when you take a short like this and the D1 chart is still strong. There are buyers lined up across a couple of levels over here. So you got to make sure that they are good on that front. All right. So other picks we have here is NVIDIA finding some support at that 8 EMA, testing it again today. That was my trade analysis. So stock had a gap up, testing the bid over here. Not super strong so far this morning. We need the stock to get back up to 144. Kind of right around that all-time high level over here. Oracle, we're taking a look at Oracle. So still in that compression, putting in a little bit of a green candle today, finding some support at this 174 level. So still generally like what I'm seeing today. Volume is rather low, but if it can get through some of those levels, I think we may be in good shape. Still holding on to this, although I am looking to take a smaller loss sometime up there. So one small win on MMM as a day trade. And just making a note of that. All right. Now let's get into the market today. Starting at long term, again, nothing has changed too much. We had Tesla earnings come out. They were generally pretty positive reaction. Stock is now actually into the gap. Yep, into the gap over here. That's a nice breakout of Tesla. Test, 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 test. And then broke up over here. Low, like what I see in this stock. This has a lot of volume, ton of volatility. So this 1 cross will be pretty spot on here. And if it's a divergence, then you have a good chance to get in. And that sniped a really, really nice entry here from 250 to 253. So could be the pick. We'll see how that works for the day. This still is a pretty decent day trade. So market, Tesla had some positive earnings. So that's a nice way to kick off the earnings season. A lot more mega cap tech earnings coming out next week. We noticed that the market is going to be slow, and it's been slow on this move up technically. Every time we made a new all-time high, we've kind of compressed a little bit, tested the bid, made a new all-time high, test, come back, tested support. Look at a couple of anchored VWAPs. We got one from the 11th. As you can see, we broke out over here, tested that, tested at early October. This anchored VWAP from the 5th came back. We tested that in September and in the 11th over here. So, these are, some other levels that you can use to analyze the picks over here. I also dropped one from the 17th. So far you can see we're trading below it on a shorter term basis. So that's what we're seeing on a, kind of a longer term basis here. Still mildly bullish trend, but here's the trend for the last couple of months. Reach a level, pull back, reach a new all-time high, pull back, all-time high, pull back. So looking for the market to gain some strength today. I'm just kind of waiting on the sidelines, not really doing a whole lot. I'm kind of saving my capital for all the stuff post-election, post-FOMC, where we may see the market have its seasonal rally at the end of the year. Now let's zoom into a shorter term time frame. And this is one thing that I saw, or I noticed, if I look at kind of a middle term time frame. Here's the trend after the gap up on the 17th. Market is in a choppy bearish channel. And then yesterday we broke through the channel on a selling climax. Then we snap back in, and we're still kind of within that old channel in today, although it may be something new now. So we'll see if this becomes the start of a new channel or not. But that's kind of what I saw yesterday. That's the selling climax. Zooming in a little bit more to the chart yesterday. AVWAP-Q was right below this area around 574.11 or something like that. So we had a gap down, made a new low pretty early, came back. So this was a bid check, and now everything looked good here. This was our first slew at 10:45. The fact that the market, let's go play by play here. The fact that the market hit the gap and rejected. Okay, we're in this bearish cycle, still producing. Now we have this bullish cycle here, and here's our major clue. So if this bullish cycle was good, right, we should have held this low of the day again, and then we start to rally back up and kind of break into that gap. So that's what happened on the bullish case. Instead, we got that new low of the day, big volume. So that immediately tells us, all right, well, we don't want to get into a lot of longs right now. We want to be careful. So if you took any sort of longs on this candle, you're out on that next candle. Now this bear cycle this bull cycle goes and goes and goes. Now you start to see that bearish cross come in. This is a pretty good time to take shorts. We have hugged the low of the day. We've held the halfway point of this candle over here. And then we get our new low of the day right here. We're following through. We get a bullish hammer here, so it doesn't produce a whole lot. Bear cycle is still going, it's still kind of flatlining. And now we kind of get this bullish cross, high volume doji. So this is probably where I'd take some profits on the stock, and then you can see that it had a last leg lower, and we finally got that test of our A VWAP key right here. A really high volume candle. This is starting to accelerate. Then we get an HE reversal. We get the close with the 8 EMA. So that's a good chance to tell us that, hey, you should definitely buy here, but certainly I think 225 is a good time. But got out of the trade somewhere here, so ended up being the same price, even though I missed this little last leg of the move. I got a nice little chunk of the meat in the middle. So we got a decent bounce back up to VWAP. Today we had a gap up from the Tesla earnings. You can see the market is trying to poke at that gap. But so far, not really doing a whole lot. I think this is mildly bullish so far. We do have an exit signal here, so not really looking to take a ton of trades at the moment. Market is sideways. Maybe some strong stocks that are moving in a certain way you could take a trade in, but I would hold off. And there's a couple scenarios here. So on the bearish side, we kind of poked through this low of the day a couple times, so we could see a little bit of a late day sell-off over here. That's the first scenario. The second scenario is that we actually test a bid a couple of times, and we kind of get back up over here on this bearish cycle. On this bullish cycle, we can push back up higher. So that's what I'm looking at on that. Those are the two kind of scenarios. It is strange. Usually on a gap up day, we don't have an LPT day, especially after some kind of news. However, the market may be waiting for some more information to come out next week, as we know is expected. So let's take a look at a couple of tags here. What could we trade today? What is cooking? What is setting up? So let's go over a couple of charts. All right, so I called that Tesla earlier. Like this stock, I did miss the entry on this, so we had a gap test, came to the high of the day, test again, and then we got the breakout right here. So beautiful move on this 1 OP bullish cross. I mean, here's where, you get the small cross up, but here's probably where I would have taken a partial position, and then add on the confirmation of this high of the day. So new high of the day here, close at 251, add on confirmation, ride this trade up, and then, yeah, we get a 1OP crossover here. That's some nice gains, especially on an LPTE day. Don't force it. Take some gains. Get onto the sidelines. We'll see what sets up again over here. So Tesla could be pretty good later in the day. Let's see what is still holding up. A lot of stocks have shed some gains. VKTX is still good. Really like this one earlier today. Nice. Beautiful move right here. Missed our entry just a little bit. But yeah, bullish cross over here. We came back over here, broke through this level, came back and tested it. And now this is a pretty nice entry point on this stock. Yep. There's our LRSRI, 1OP. HA reversal was in the candle before. So that is a nice entry on this stock. And yeah, still has some room to go until 75. So missed the entry slightly on that. But still like what I'm seeing here. Maybe if another cycle sets up, that could be good. Okay, there's CBRE. Not really doing a whole lot. So still waiting on that guy. Give some signal. Let's look at now. So big move. Looks like it may have come close to that high minus trend line. Some selling off, flattening out over here. Look, there's SPY, new low of the day. So we still want to hold off on our longs. Not crazy about these candles here. Rocket Lab founding some support at the prior day high. So could be good. I would like to see it get above VWAP, but a lot of these are cooking now. Not GTX. GTX is a bearish chart. Yeah, a lot of these of Starbucks look good. Then it shed the gains. So that pullback's a little bit too deep for me. USP was a nice gap fill reversal. So post earnings breakout through the 200 SMA. So there was a pretty advanced trade to take it early through the 200 SMA, and then you target the high of the day over here as soon as it stalls. Now maybe setting up again over here. Here's VWAP, and then here's this low over here. So you could take it. I don't know, maybe somewhere here. You could take that trade. Not the best, but also not the worst. Now we're looking at, these are some stocks that were strong and then they shed a lot of those gains. So here's QS, looks really good early in the morning, shed back a lot of those gains. So we are rewarded for waiting. BYON, beautiful breakdown on the stock. This could be a pick of the day over here. Yeah, here's our 1p bearish cross. So I'd take that here, 690. He's already up on that stock over here. Now we have some tailwind. We potentially could get through the low of the day if the market starts to continue downwards and tries to fill in this remaining gap. HAS. Nice one here. Took this on paper earlier today. Here's a beautiful setup. 1OP bearish cross. So took a small position here. Entered again over here. Stock produced. It tested this low. Tested that. And then we're actually testing this low of the day right here. Market is starting to sell off, which is a good thing why we waited to get into some longs. And you can see that this stock is actually not responding. So market's breaking down over here. BYON is nice. ASTS gave some of the gains back. Let's look at IMB, close to the 50 SMA. I would actually prefer it on a gap fill reversal on the other side. So let's look at this setup on IBM. Yeah, it's looking decent. So if it could break through over here on the bullish cycle, it would have been felt a little better. Stock is now at the low of the day. Here's that bearish cross. So what I like to see is here's a bearish cycle producing, produce, benign or diverge, and then you get in on the next one. That should produce. Yep, so that's a nice breakdown here. So it looks like we may get a test of this this low over here on SPY. So like what I see in the market here. Yeah, I mean, look, market's selling off, so couple scenarios here. First thing I'd like to see is a stock that has relative strength while the market is moving down. That would be a more patient scenario, just waiting this out. When it finds some support, then you can take the stock with relative strength. The second one is to find a stock with relative weakness and get in on that fairly soon. I'm not crazy about the setup because we already kind of through a lot of this bear cycle. We could have triggered some sell stops here and kind of move back up in the range. So give this a second, see if it doesn't move back up in the range or not. But yeah, I mean, in terms of setups, either Tesla or VKTX. So let's go with Tesla long on a pullback and relative strength. VKTX, same deal. If we get another little pullback, another little bit of relative strength while the market's holding on, so it's doing pretty well over here. So maybe another little test of VWAP that holds, and we start to move up higher. I'm okay with that. So that's kind of what I'd like to see for both of those. Now, this has to assume that the market finds support later in the day and starts to rally up, and these stocks actually hold their own and they hold their gains. So those are the 2 picks of the day. Thank you for watching, everyone, and we'll take a look at how these picks did in tomorrow's video.